If you're looking to bridge the gap or just increase the margin in your life financially, medical surveys are something that you can do from home, on your phone or laptop, on your time, on your terms. Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. Hey friend, welcome back to The PA is In. I'm your host, Tracy Bingaman, clinician, coach, and someone who definitely knows the value of stacking up small income streams and to make a big impact in your life financially. Making more money isn't the key to happiness, but having margin in your life financially gives you more choices. And here we are all about having wiggle room in your life and in your wallet. Today, we're talking about a sneaky little side hustle you might have seen people posting about, but have wondered, will this actually work for me? Will this actually earn me actual money? Today's topic is earning money through answering medical surveys. I've tried a bunch of them. In fact, I got the idea for this episode almost 6 months ago, and I have spent the last 6 months signing up for, trying to complete, answering emails, and sort of being in the trenches of these enrollment in these survey companies to see which ones are really worth the time. Some are amazing, some are more meh. And today I'm breaking down each one of them that I've enrolled in for you. Which companies rise to the top, what they pay, what to expect as a new member, which ones are worth the most of your time and attention, and just how not filthy rich you're going to get for them. I would have loved to title this episode, Here's How to Make $200,000 This Year Answering Medical Surveys. However, it's likely going to be hundreds of dollars a month, not thousands, for the average respondent of these medical surveys. But as we'll talk about, hundreds of dollars a month add up. So if you're wondering whether clinician surveys are worth clicking through, grab your coffee, or in my case, your tea, and let's dive in.
Are you confident you know where your next dollar should go? 403B, 457, HSA, or Roth? There are so many options. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming. A lot of providers aren't sure if their investment mix is optimized, if they're contributing enough to their investment accounts, or if they're paying too much in taxes. Meet Caleb Pepperday, a fee-only financial planner and founder of Advanced Practice Planning, LLC. Caleb helps PAs create a clear plan of action that allows them to fast-track their path to work-optional living, all while keeping more of what they earn today. Caleb's process identifies the strategies that make the most sense for each PA situation and provides step-by-step guidance to put them into action. For our listeners, Caleb is offering a free one-on-one consultation where he will provide feedback on the steps you've taken in your own financial situation and if you're on track to achieve your goals. Caleb will also help you to determine if your situation warrants needing to work with a financial planner or if you're on track doing it by yourself. Head to advancedpracticeplanning.com/FI to grab your free consultation time slot. These consultations are capped each week to keep turnaround fast. That's advancedpracticeplanning.com/FI.
Advanced Practice Planning, LLC is a registered investment advisor in Montana and Pennsylvania. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Advanced Practice Planning, LLC and its representatives are properly registered or exempt from registration. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. This advertisement is for informational purposes only and does not constitute individualized advice or a guarantee that you will achieve a desired result. All topics discussed in this podcast are the opinion of the podcast host and not of Advanced Practice Planning, LLC, or its advisors.
Let's start with the big picture. These survey platforms are companies that pay licensed medical professionals, yes, including PAs, NPs, dietitians, physical therapists, and physicians, to share their clinical experience, prescribing patterns, any opinions about specific meds, the way that you learn, the way that you treat certain conditions, and even about your relationship from representatives of these companies that frequent your office. It's not big, huge money, but it's flexible. It's remote, and you can do it on your time and your terms. And again, small survey payouts do add up, especially if it's something that you can do while you're sitting on the couch, waiting in that pickup line, or on the sidelines of soccer practice, or during your post call zombie recovery phase where you are off call and at home. I want to pause here for a little expectation check. You're not going to likely make your entire rent or mortgage payment with these, but you might make enough to cover your next Costco haul, Target trip, the fees to enroll said kid in soccer this fall, or some bonus cash to funnel into your brokerage investment account. We'll talk about how diligence and these things add up over time. So give it a try and take a listen to find out what survey companies might be best for you, given what you know about yourself and what I'm about to tell you about these different companies in terms of qualifications, exclusions, and payout. First up, Sermo, the survey and community powerhouse. If you've been around here, you know that I am a Sermo superfan. They're a sponsor of this show, and I've done several episodes on Sermo in the past. See episode 338 for some surprising things about Sermo, 321 for Sermo 101 tips just after you've joined, and 295 for an honest review of Sermo, where I do a deeper dive into Sermo in general, surveys, and community-wise. The thing about Sermo is that it's not just a survey site. It's a whole APP-only clinician community. Think Reddit meets LinkedIn meets peer consults with PAs, NPs, and APRNs only. The pros for Sermo. It is hands down the best for connection and collegial support. The other companies we're going to talk about do not have this community feel. I cannot overstate the power of this connection from the community inside of Sermo. I know that that is not necessarily the topic we're talking about today, but do know that that exists. Inside of Sermo, you can chat, consult, and connect with other APPs and physicians. In my experience, they send out the most surveys of any of the platforms that I've used. The surveys are plentiful, increasing the chances that you find surveys that you do, in fact, qualify for. Over time, you'll start qualifying for more if your specialty fits. I did rule out, and I'll talk about that in a minute, for a lot of surveys initially. Once I started getting the surveys that I qualified for, things like surgery, ostomy care, aesthetics, dermal fillers, dermatology procedures, I started qualifying for even more. It's like, I don't know this for sure, but I think on the back end, there's some sort of algorithm that once you qualify for a survey, likely makes it so you're at the top of the list for surveys like that in the future. The next thing I like about Sermo is generous compensation. Aside from one other company we're going to talk about at the end, I think their compensation is competitive, if not the best that I've seen. Typically, it's anywhere from $15 to $50 per survey, and they can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to complete. I would say the outlier is like a survey that's maybe 35 to 45 minutes. However, there are additional opportunities for a call. I've had 60-minute calls with compensation anywhere between $250 and $450. I just got an email yesterday for a 60-minute ostomy call with a $270 compensation. These are typically more involved than the surveys that you're going to be taking sort of passively, answering the questions on your phone. They're typically a Zoom or an audio call that runs the full 60 minutes. I find these to personally be fun because I love to offer my opinion, but they are less something that you can do sort of on the fly in the carpool line and more something where you have to set aside dedicated time. But the upside here is the increased compensation. I also find it a little more professionally fulfilling to have a conversation versus just answering the survey questions, but that's probably because of who I am and maybe less so because it actually is more fun. Sermo cons. I got ruled out a lot at first. Everyone who messages me, sends me an email inside of Sermo will get the same response. I too got ruled out for a lot of surveys at first. You have to be patient and persistent. Once the algorithm gets to know you, the good stuff does come. Make sure that you have notifications on, as surveys do fill up quickly. When it comes to payments and moving that money from your Sermo wallet into your actual wallet, you have to trigger the dispersion on your own. A little pro tip, if you get $100 in your Sermo wallet and leave it there and only withdraw down to that $100, you'll maintain preferred status. I do withdraw twice a month when I do my business accounting. I withdraw from all of the survey companies, but I leave that $100 behind so I continue to have preferred status. You'll get more survey opportunities. So we've talked about the pay. I would say $15 to $50 per survey, 5 to 30 minutes on average. I get an average of 2 to 8 completed surveys that I qualify for and complete in any given month. Sometimes I'll get 2 back to back and then a week or 2 before I get another one. It just depends on sort of as they pop up and if I am available to respond immediately and answer them. Sometimes I will respond and they will have filled up already. A lot more that I screen out for. Sometimes those rule outs come with a little professional courtesy $5 thank you for screening out. That doesn't happen for everyone, but when it does, it's a little like, great, thanks. I mean, I'll take it. So Sermo is my top recommendation, especially if you're looking for any form of community and connection alongside compensation for medical surveys. If you want to be the one who is getting those 2 to 8 surveys per month in Sermo, turn on your notifications, jump on surveys quickly. Make sure you have email, texting, the app, and the notifications turned on. I find sometimes they'll send you an email about a survey, sometimes not. I hang out in Sermo a lot, so I'll see that notification pop up, that little icon in the top right hand with the survey, and I will answer them. But sometimes I don't get an email when they first pop up. Sometimes I'll get an email like, hey, this survey is closing, or there's only a couple of seats left. That's like a nudge reminder. You don't get an email for all of them. So log in periodically and check. Just make that a habit of the rhythm of your life. Use the Sermo referral link in the show notes to get $20 immediately in your Sermo wallet upon joining. Okay, so that's Sermo. Now we're moving on to ZoomRx. ZoomRx. This one has been a little hit or miss for me. There's some things I clearly love about it, where they very much value your time, and a couple things that I just feel like are a little bit of a dud here. So the pros for ZoomRx, they pay, and they are the only survey company that I know of that I've researched and joined, per minute. ZoomRx pays per minute, not just for completed surveys. They will pay per minute even if you get screened out. You'll often get a couple of bucks. It's a pay for your time model, so take your time in answering. I don't do this with the Sermo. On Sermo, I go through those sort of rule out questions quick. When you sort of manipulative, but when I'm in ZoomRx, I've got nowhere to be. I am not in a hurry. I think diligently about my answers, even to the questions of what state do you practice in? What specialty? What is your title? I just take my time. The other thing I love about ZoomRx, they have super easy PayPal payout, no fees, and it's instant. You do not have to do anything to get paid. You don't have to trigger the withdrawal. You don't have to put a process in. You don't have to put your bank account information in, as you do have to link it with your PayPal when you sign up. As soon as the fund hits your account in ZoomRx, they are in your PayPal. Cons. So this is the thing that has been a trip up for me for ZoomRx. The surveys are often very specific. Like I've had 2 in the last month: trends in cytomegalovirus treatment or immune, inflammatory, respiratory, and skin conditions as one topic. So it's super, super specific. So if you don't treat that condition, if you're not in a specialty where you're seeing those patients, it's a pass. I do tend to, with Zoom, I will answer the screening questions. Part of that is just to see, does the algorithm give me more of what I do ultimately qualify for? My sort of take on ZoomRx, great for trickle income. Don't expect daily surveys or the volume of surveys that you get from Sermo or some of the other sites, unless your specialty aligns and you get in a lane where then they know what you do and you get more of those. Be diligent, and slow is a-okay. Take your time. And even if you rule out, you'll get a couple dollars at the end of the screening out based on the quick generous pay per minute structure of the ZoomRx platform. Really easy to use. And you can use my link to join ZoomRx in the show notes.
Are you feeling stuck, burned out, or craving a little more flexibility and financial freedom? You're not alone. So many clinicians feel trapped in the grind, overworked, underpaid, and unsure how to pivot. But here's the truth. Your skills are valuable beyond the clinic. That's why I created the 48 Side Gig Ideas for Healthcare Providers guide, a free PDF packed with practical, creative, and immediately cash-generating ideas that you can start right now. From telehealth to medical writing and patient advocacy to app development, and even a little note on podcasting, these things aren't fluff. These are real, proven opportunities that other providers are already doing. You don't have to figure it out alone. This guide will help you explore new passions, learn how to make extra money, and make the first step towards multiple income streams and building the life and career you actually want. Download your free copy today at tracybingaman.com/gig or click the link in the show notes and start creating financial freedom and cash flow flexibility on your own terms. Because you, my friend, are more than just your clinical job, and taking the first step to generating alternative revenue streams is waiting for you inside the Side Gig Guide. Find it now in the show notes.
InCrowd and OpinionSite. These two get lumped together because the user experience is similar. You may see both names used interchangeably. I believe the companies are operated separately, but the login is the same. So I'm doing it as one sort of review. InCrowd/OpinionSite. The pros here, there are frequent survey opportunities. There are some higher paying surveys in the mix. These have the biggest range of compensation amounts that I've seen. The payout is via PayPal. The cons, when they send you a survey, the time is clear, like 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but the compensation is wonky. Instead of dollars, they pay in points. And sometimes there's a lag in payout. So the payout could be 4 to 6 weeks. And then you have to do this wonky math to convert points to dollars in your mind to see if it's worth the time in points or dollars, because I don't operate on a point-based system. You cannot get a payout until you reach a threshold of 25 points. I have done a lot of research. I've read the FAQs. I believe it's 1 point per dollar, but that's not clearly stated. An example of a recent OpinionSite survey that I got asked to answer: mental disorder treatments, 30 minutes in length for 50 reward points. They do also have this option for longer surveys with higher rewards or payouts. Like a recent one, I got management of pulmonary artery hypertension. This one had a 2 to 3 minute pre-interview survey, which I'm certain based on my clinical background that I would fail. The actual interview is 90 minutes in length for a payout of 600 reward points. It is my thought that the people that are saying they're making thousands of dollars on surveys are probably doing multiple of those longer interviews in a single month. My take on OpinionSite and InCrowd: fine to sign up for. Not my first click when I open the inbox. In the last 6 months, I have been clicking on all of these opportunities. I have found that inside of here, I have qualified for fewer surveys. Definitely great for bite-sized earnings. The potential for some more earning if you're doing one of those longer interviews. Particularly, payout is via PayPal. Screening can be tough, and this point thing is wonky. Personally, they did not ask me for my opinion, but why don't we just call them dollars instead of reward points? MD for Lives. This is one that feels a bit more like a traditional research firm. Don't let the MD in the title fool you, or the fact that on their emails, they assume everyone is a physician, despite the fact that you identified yourself as a PA when you signed up. Emails that I get are addressed to Dr. Bingaman, despite my PA credentials being clearly entered upon joining. The pros for MD for Lives: clear description, time required, pay is very clear. Everything is in actual dollars, no points or gift cards. You'll get very clear email invites, even if those invites are addressed to you as a physician, even though you're not. The cons: payment is a bit slower. Unlike the immediate payout of something like a ZoomRx, you can expect 4 to 6 weeks after completion of the survey before those dollars hit your account. And I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but sometimes the qualifications are very narrow. It's legit and transparent, just slower to pay. One thing that I realized when I was doing the research for this and sort of gathering all the data and looking at what I'd earned on these various sites is that when I logged into the platforms to check on payout details, etc., is that the MD Lives honorarium points or compensation expires. There were also surveys in my bin that I hadn't been emailed about. So if you're going to do this and take it seriously and say, I really want to see how much money I can make on medical surveys, I would set, time aside in your calendar to check 1 or 2 times per week on the sites where you're getting the most surveys and check your in basket and see if there are some that you weren't notified yet or weren't notified about at all in your inbox. Medscape surveys someone turned me on to when I was asking about where do people answer their surveys. So I know they exist, but I have yet to personally qualify or receive one of the Medscape surveys. That being said, here's what I know about Medscape. Surveys are sent out on a PRN style based on your profile, so be sure to complete your profile as robust, complete, and honestly as possible. If you get screened out for a survey, you're still entered to win an Amazon gift card. Never happened to me. Payouts in the $25-ish range for surveys based on my research, with Amazon gift cards as the only option for payout at the time of this recording. It's possibly worth signing up for, but don't hold your breath if generating as much income as possible is the main goal for you in pursuing these surveys. Okay. Rechner. Rechner is the bougie one of the bunch. When they pay, they really pay. It's one of those medical survey companies that are quote unquote invite only, but truly, it's such a weird way to describe it because you could go on a link and apply. You do have to use your work email to confirm that you're a healthcare provider one time, and then you can hop back over to your personal email to field survey requests so you're not using your work email for these. The incentives here, if your compensation is under $150, you can choose from a Visa digital or physical card or an Amazon gift card. If your compensation is over $150, you can add direct deposit as a payout option inside of Rechner. The pros, some of the surveys I've seen, highest potential compensation and these options for how you get paid with direct deposit as an option. The cons, invite only, quote unquote, invite only, but you can apply to be invited. They do request that you confirm your employment, send you an email to your actual like healthcareorganization.com or .edu or .org work email address so that you can confirm that. It's not like upload your license. They want to do it with the email. And then you can get the surveys sent to your personal email, which is what I do. I don't use my work email for side hustle things, business things outside of work. You have to apply. And then once you do that email confirmation, you have to wait to be admitted or confirmed. So Rechner is a slow burn, but when you get in, it does seem like it's worth it in terms of compensation amounts for the surveys. Okay, here's the deal. If you're looking to make a few hundred extra dollars per month, surveys can absolutely be a helpful, relatively low lift for you income stream, especially since you're already answering emails, scrolling your phone, or sitting in the school pickup line with time to kill and your phone in your hand or your pocket. But it's not passive. It takes time. It takes a little or a lot of patience, depending on your specialty and which of these sites you're signed up and registered for, and also a lot of clicking. I have found it's most convenient for you to do these on your phone when you're out and about, when you're doing things, when you have downtime. But sometimes the platform or the survey interface is wonky on a mobile device. It's definitely easier to navigate on the desktop or laptop, but that's a little less convenient because you don't always have your laptop when you're out and about or a hotspot for internet connection. Bottom line here, my top 3 are Sermo, if you're looking for any community and connection, and Cash. ZoomRx, so smooth, so simple, quick and easy payments, dollars for currency, no dealing with gift cards, etc. And they pay per minute. And Rechner, if you can get in and earn those biggest payouts, if you can get approved and go through some of the hoops that you can jump through, seems worth it if you're going to get those larger payouts. Earlier in the show, I mentioned that it could potentially be hundreds of dollars a month not likely thousands and thousands or tens of thousands, but let's say you decide to give this a try. You lean in, you sign up or register for a couple of the top companies that I mentioned here. You qualify for 4 $50 surveys and 1 $250 interview in a month. That's $450 that month. Annualized, that's an extra $5,400 a year. It's not nothing. And if you're looking to bridge the gap or just increase the margin in your life financially, medical surveys are something that you can do from home, on your phone or laptop, on your time, on your terms. Diligence and being willing to give these a shot and consistency over time compounds. I hope that this has been helpful and given you some ideas on what survey sites are worth your time, what ones you might want to skip. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of The PA is In. That's all for today. This PA is out. Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.